So then you have Matthew 7:12, which is basically the golden rule. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. I remember I was working for that guy that I worked for back in Florida, and good old ass Gary. He's in all kind of hot water now. Very, very greedy dude, and lives in a $7.25 million mansion. And he would come to me to get adjusted. I was one of his doctors, and that was the last official job that I had back in Florida. It was the most miserable job I ever had in my life by far. It was horrible. They were so greed driven, and I was just pushing back against it constantly. And his right hand man, I forget his name, but he came up to me one time, and he thought he was going to I think I'd written them a letter. It was one of the many things I wrote them on, how these are things that we're doing as practice in business that we should not really be doing, because we're going to get in hot water if we do this. And some of it was that they wanted me to adjust everybody manually, like on the first visit. And I'm like, I'm not doing that to a car accident victim. What if they've got a ruptured disc in their neck, and you want me to crank on their neck first visit, and you want me to lose the patient because I hurt them because they couldn't handle that adjustment at that point? No, I do like an activator adjustment on them, like get them into the point where, they can handle a manual adjustment. Maybe a week, 2, 3 down the road, you're not going to lose the patient that way. You're still going to be realigning them. But they wanted me to adjust everybody manually right off the bat, and I wrote them. I'm like, do you guys want to get sued? Do you want to lose patients? And eventually, they ended up just letting me go, because Florida's a right-to-work state, and they came in there and they fired me, essentially, is what it was. But they never gave me a reason, because it's a right-to-work state, so they don't have to give me. It was the best thing that ever happened. It's literally what launched this ministry, And God made me so incredibly miserable there. It was like the biggest relief ever when I finally left. And a lot of times, if you're in a job and you're beyond miserable and you're hating life, and a lot of times because God doesn't want you there. And he's letting it become so miserable for you that you're not going to have a choice but to want to go. And when you do finally go, you're not looking at Jesus, you're looking at, how am I going to make a living? I didn't have another job right then. I had so messed my life up on so many different levels from the poor choices that I had made, that I didn't have a lot of options. But you know what? God provided a way. And he started providing it almost immediately, essentially, for me, where I was just basically doing my own thing. So he came up to me, this guy, Gary's right-hand man, because I wrote him this letter, and I think I'd put in there about something like do unto others as you would have done. And he says, yeah, he says, where is that in the Bible? Where does it say that? Because evidently he thought there was a rumor that wasn't actually ever in the Bible anywhere. And I was like, oh, it's right here. It's Matthew 7:12. It's the golden rule. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. So that's all it was, and that shut him up real quick, real quick, and boy, they were greedy. Oh man, that was a horrible year of my life.